And let me just briefly introduce who is here today and who is going to participate in our fantastic AMA today. It's Yuen Wong, CEO of Labs, and James Andersen, CEO of RioDeFi, Stephen Browne, CEO of Lepricon, and Guy Oren, CEO of Poolz. And me, Ekaterina Volkova, VP and also co-founder of RioDeFi. So all of us, we've spent quite a lot of time in blockchain space, and we've been like a pioneer in blockchains in some cases, but in different industries at the same time. So RioDeFi is looking to bridge traditional and decentralized finance and participate in the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies, while Poolz aims to provide more liquidity to debt owners and also simplify the raising funds process. Lab's ambitions to make property an asset class available to all with just the minimum of $100, while Lepricon is going to combine NFT, DeFi in the gaming industry and make small evolution in gaming industry that might appear quite big then. So as I introduced and briefed all the projects, I would like to ask a few questions from you guys. And at which point did you realize that you could provide the solution in your specific area? And what made you take the necessary actions to set up your own business, to build the team and to go with it? Let's start with Yem.
So you are saying that to build the project, right?
Yes, basically, how did you realize that you could provide, let's say, solution to this kind of problem that people could not invest in property with such a small amount of money?
Yeah. So actually, just a bit on my background. In 2017, late 2017, I started to get involved in a blockchain. Prior to that, I was involved in e-commerce. So I always believe in digital economy, and then because I was a partner in an exchange, so I tended to get in touch with a lot of projects. I know projects that are trying to solve problems in different areas, and coming into blockchain, I start to look at what blockchain can bring changes to certain industry. So we look at the real estate industry. We realize that there are a few main key pain points. Okay, so the high barrier to entry, high transactional costs, and also very difficult in cross-border investment and management. So we believe that blockchain can change this, and so I started to explore that idea, talk to different people, talk to my partner, and start to form a team and a lot of partnerships. So we are lucky, and we have RioDeFi also believing in our idea, and that's how we got started. Yeah, and we believe that through digitization, people can get involved in real estate investment easily, because what you need right now is internet, digital wallet, and maybe like a $100, and then you can get involved. Yeah.
Okay, $100 you still need it. So, yes. Stephen, let's go with you. So, what did you make to make necessary actions, to take necessary actions to provide these kinds of solution in gaming industry?
Thanks, Katerina, and great to be here today. So the genesis of Lepricon was really both Josh, who's the CEO of Lepricon, and myself have been in the full-time the blockchain crypto industry for about 4 years, quite a long time, considering the relative youth of the industry. And in that time, we've seen a lot of gaming projects attempt to marry, let's say, the video game mechanics and the inherent benefits of blockchain. And we always kind of felt they always came short of the mark, and so much more could be done. And when we were thinking about coming together with Lepricon, Josh's background is 25 years plus in the video game space, and then combining that with both of our collective experience in blockchain, we decided the time was right to do something in this space that could make a difference. And then we became familiar with James and yourself and the whole Rio team's efforts and what they were trying to do, or what you were trying to do with bringing the benefits of Rio, and how this could fit with what we were trying to do with Lepricon, namely low transaction costs, high transaction speed, which works very well with video games. We can't have a situation where somebody's playing a game and then there's a 2 or 3 hour delay while a transaction is being registered on the blockchain. That just simply wouldn't work for anybody. So it was a culmination of all of these things kind of led us to create Lepricon, and we're excited for what the future is going to bring.
Well, I could say all of us are excited as well, and especially we are excited about Lepricon. So let's move to James. James, I know I've asked you this question many times during the AMAs, but still, what did you, let's say, what did you make to take actions and to create RioDeFi to go with all of us and let's say to provide these fantastic solutions for projects, for people, and basically, I guess you're going to have also future plans for RioDeFi as well. Quite fantastic and quite, I could say, quite realistic at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Katarina. It's always good speaking with you. And, it's, yeah, I mean, it was due in part to our conversations as well as conversations between us and Calvin and Stefan, the other co-founders of RioDeFi. We realized that, having been, blockchain industry veterans ourselves, I've been in the space since 2013, started researching a little bit in 2012, but really bought my first Bitcoin in 2013, and then got full-time in the space in 2017 when I ran a business called Blockchain Investor, teaching people about crypto investments and how they can store their funds securely using hardware wallets, and which exchanges to trade on, which ones maybe watch out for, and things like this. So back then, it was the height of the ICOs and everything like that. And one thing it was clear, it was that there were a lot of projects that, were, just trying to grab money quickly. And, the thing that I like about Poolz specifically is that, this launch pad, there's some due diligence there. There's some checking, there's some vetting of projects, bringing people on. And, when it comes to RioDeFi, we saw this need in the marketplace where in order for other tokens to really thrive, you need this situation where you can't be spending $25 to send a token, right? Like on Ethereum sometimes, and I love Ethereum, I'm a big fan. Obviously, it brought us to where we are today. But, when I send USDT, sometimes it costs, $20 to $25. And if you're going to, if you're a person in Southeast Asia and you just want to spend $100 like on real estate, or $5 on playing a game, you can't do that if the transaction cost is $20, right? So this was one of the key reasons we created RioChain to be based on Substrate, because we think the Polkadot network is absolutely where the future of blockchain interoperability is going. And so we're really excited to bring blockchain to the masses by making it simpler, more scalable, and more sustainable with lower cost transactions and fast speeds.
Yeah, thank you so much, James. And just from myself, I would like to add that one of the reasons also was the global inequality, and we are definitely going to developing markets as well with RioDeFi to improve the life of living, I could say, because blockchain is really changing technology. It's not even like so much disruptive, but now it's more about adopting centralized finance, traditional finance, and decentralized finance, and that's where we are going to help. And let's move to legendary Poolz. Guy, we are really happy to have you here with us, and I would like to ask you about your fantastic, maybe slightly your background, maybe like what exactly made you to take actions and just go with the solutions for all the DEP owners for fundraising and also to launch the Launchpad.
So first of all, thank you for hosting us. It's a pleasure to be here and speak with all of our partners. And Poolz started to operate like almost one year ago, when we saw in the change in the market. If we compare it to 2017, our fundraising managed during the time. Over the past few years, last year we saw like the growth of the DeFi industry and the ecosystem that want to be involved in every fundraising. It's not about to raise $1 million as was before. It's about small amount with huge community behind you that help you to increasing process during the time. This was the first idea of Poolz, how we can use ecosystem in order to help company to increasing buzz before the fundraising, and obviously provide benefit to our token holders. We saw the changes over the past few months, and by now in Poolz we are very focusing in the IDO solution, and we're happy to collaborate with RioDeFi project as Lepricon and Labs, that it was the next IDO in Poolz. And
thank you so much. You told us about fundraising for Poolz as well, but how did you organize your own public sale, and how did you basically manage to work with your competitors and to support you?
Yeah, there is a number of competitors in the market. We saw them make a great job, and even sometimes it can help to us because educated markets, we don't think that you want to spend time on it. So when you have competitors and great fun in the market, you can take the achievement to your home. And by now we are helping the company in terms of the public sale. Obviously, we provide fully cross solution. So as we make with the RioDeFi, we support Ethereum project, Polkadot project.
Any other chains that you support?
Yeah, Binance project, Binance chain, Huobi chain, Tomo chain.
Oh, that's really cool. But I could mention, and I could see based on your experience and based on our experience, that this year, 2021, and maybe also slightly 2020, it's the year of cooperation, when projects are supporting each other, even if they're competitors. And that's really cool. And I think that this is going to be the great change and the great step forward in comparison to 2017, when projects just were so selfish and they were just going by themselves. And that was probably one of the reasons why blockchain slightly, I could say, collapsed in 2017. So yeah, but now
totally agree. Totally agree with you. We saw it like even as we collaborate with all of competitor in space. Basically, the focus is every time is to provide the company that use our solution what they need. They're the focus, not us.
Yeah, and now I would like to ask you, Stephen and Yuen, about Labs and Lepricon IDO, because I know that all of you, like both of you, are going to use Poolz, and basically Labs organized already 3 pre-IDOs, and one of them was Poolz. Lepricon is going to do it quite soon, this week. We are quite excited about it as well. Would you share some data, like what amount you raised, Yuen, what amount you raised, Yuen, and also what number of participants were, and also what kind of results you expected and you achieved from your side?
Yeah, so it is a very unique experience because I'll be honest, right? The first time I saw Guy, right? Of course, the first time I thought his name is Guy, right? But it's Guy, yeah. So I look at him, the first time we have a Zoom conference, I thought, oh, this guy must be very snobbish, But he turned out to be very easygoing, totally professional. And I believe that's what Poolz should be, yeah. Believe it or not, I did come across I should not mention name. Yeah, some other launch pad, and the owner was okay. Just put it that way. Quite proud and not easy to deal with. The first question he asked was like, "What's your market cap?" Oh, sorry, too high for our community. Without asking, knowing what our project is about, dynamic, because the initial market cap is only part of the equation. It's not everything. You have to look at the traction, the team, the concept, and what industry it is addressing. What are the pain points? So we got a chance to explain to Guy, and yeah, he likes the idea. And then after that, it was just so easy. He's always accessible. Just one Instagram away. We checked with him the desired amount and all this. What are the dates? Everything was so easily handled and professional. So when you ask me the question, how many buyers we have from our pools and all this, right? Look, I'll be super honest. I have no idea. Okay, so because it was so easy, we just send it to him, the location. He just tell us the amount, and then it's done. Yeah. So it's just as easy as that. Yeah.
I also talked to Pat. That's why probably I mistook. I talked to Pat once. You had idea on Poolz, and Pat also mentioned that Poolz is fantastic. It's just like one of the dream platforms for ideas, and I was quite amazed about it.
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
Sure, please
yeah,
go
of course.
on.
Yeah, of course. I understand that Poolz uses a lottery system, right? Yeah, but of course, again, there's an argument on whether which is a better system, right? The first come first serve, or lottery, or even I was thinking maybe a hybrid might be the best, But when I know that Poolz is using a lottery system, I know that it would be just like a breeze. Yeah. But of course, some people would prefer another system which is hype and based on FOMO, right? Yeah. I think each has its best. Yeah. You just need to know which one you prefer, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, maybe in some cases you could even combine both of them in order to.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So just like to be on two chairs at the same time, let's say. And Stephen, what do you think? Like, what your results with Poolz will be? What do you think? Like, what would Poolz bring to your community, to your fundraising part?
Yeah, well, I think what Guy has created is solving one of the problems in the industry. Mainly being that there's so many projects out there for the regular person who is interested in the space and wishes to participate in something, whether it be something real estate related or something video game related or something separate. It's very hard to go through that discovery process, and that's really because the amount of projects, both good and bad, the potential or the high potential, unfortunately, I think we can all agree, of scammers and fraudsters running projects in order just to drain people of their money. So the regular person, when they want to get involved, comes up against these type of problems. So what Guy has created in Poolz, from my opinion and my vantage point, is primarily solving that on the buyer side, that it gives people a trusted source of projects that they're bringing to his community, that have been vetted, that they know are run by real people with real passion, real teams that are pursuing something serious. So, kind of, if you take that as, or I take that as my viewpoint, then from the project side, what you're getting then is people who are interested in the project, people who have gotten over that trust factor, that they know that, oh, these guys aren't going to do a rug pull or something like that, and you're getting people who will hopefully be with you for the long term because they come in for the right reasons at the start, and they didn't come in necessarily just to sell your token on day one and kind of exit their position. So kind of, I think from the project side where I sit, and then the purchaser side where the Poolz community members sit, I think it's a win-win situation. And our IDO is going live on Poolz on Wednesday, the 17th at 4 p.m. UTC, which is about midnight here in Hong Kong. And we're super excited about it. We have 100,000 US dollars worth of our token up for grabs through the different membership tiers that Poolz operates. I'm not a complete expert on them, but I hope I don't get these wrong. But Amber, Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, and so on. So there's a number of different membership tiers now. I'm giving allocation to all of these, in the Poolz system, and we're just really excited to engage, with the Poolz community, and then also, Guy, fantastic, and his team, and kind of their machine, which has been helping us, has also been fantastic. So we're absolutely thrilled, and I'm really looking forward to Wednesday.
Wow, that's great. And we are waiting for Wednesday, 17th, 4 p.m. UTC. And we are looking also for some, let's say, community involvement, Lepricon community involvement. At the same time, I would like, as I started to talk about community, and also you mentioned, Stephen, this fantastic topic. Some people believe, and I think they fairly believe, that good launch pads, they are helping with community building, and they are creating kind of a special ecosystem for community. And this question, as we recently partnered with Poolz officially as well, I would like to address to James, because that was one of the reasons, as I remember.
Yeah, sure. So we're super happy to be connected with Poolz and Guy for the launch pads, because it's something that the industry has really needed, I think, for a while. There are a few different options, back during the heyday in 2017 and beyond, but they were oftentimes very expensive. It could be hard to get a connection onto those, and a lot of times maybe it didn't have the same community feel, right? I think with Poolz, one of the great things is you have this large community of users that all has the, as Stephen mentioned as well, these different tiers of affiliation with the platform. They tend to be quite excited about the project, and so they share information with their various communities. I would love to see the research, how many various people might be on multiple launch pads or this kind of thing. But I think, yeah, it's a great way of aligning the incentives, because you have this platform for fundraising, but also the people that purchase tokens through that platform are usually quite incentivized to promote the project, and then they get really excited about it. They start talking about it. There's a lot of cross-pollination between these Telegram groups, the Twitter followings of these various companies, and so it ends up being a great way to sort of growth hack the ecosystem and really get the word out to many new users of these various decentralized applications and blockchain platforms. So I think it's a really nice innovation to see this year, and yeah, just quite excited about it. So we're very happy to partner with Poolz to help other projects within the RioDeFi ecosystem, because we're incubating quite a number of projects these days. So we obviously we're very excited for labs to have their initial offering later this evening, Hong Kong time, or in the morning if you're in Europe. But yeah, we're very excited for that, and we've been working very closely with the labs team since the beginning, and of this year, or sometime last year. Of course, Yuen's been working on labs for much longer, but yeah, we have been very happy to work side by side, and also with Stephen and Josh with the Lepricon team. These are great guys, and I see them on a weekly basis. So it's really great to be have these kind of platforms to help do the due diligence. It is basic due diligence, right? Making sure these project teams are real, making sure that there are the appropriate token models and things in place, right? Of course, they're not going to guarantee success. No platform can do that, right? But at least they take the time to make sure that these are at least, as Stephen said, passionate teams that are really trying to create something in this world. And I think that's really important, and something that I'm glad to see. The space is maturing in that direction now. So yeah, it's great to be partnered with Poolz.
Well, I could say that thanks for mentioning. Yeah, based on our experience with Labs and Lepricon, and also we had experience with MantraDAO, and we have also a few other projects that are going to come on Rio chain. And I hope we will have this data of different launch pads, what is the difference between them? Because definitely, we are getting the feedback from the project, and it's really essential. And one of the reasons to connect with Poolz, because all the guys were so excited about this launch pad, that they're doing so professionally everything. So yeah, we hope it will help projects from RioDeFi ecosystem in the future as well, and already helped to Labs. So.
Yeah, and regarding the things said earlier about sort of this, idea of all these various launch pads and they kind of compete with each other. I saw someone in the chat also said, are these launch pads getting too saturated because there's many popping up, right? But I actually, and they're like, are there enough projects to support that? I think, at least from what I've observed, and I've been a crypto investor for quite some time, the launch pads actually end up cooperating a lot more than they compete, because actually, each community has its own set of people. And of course, there's some overlap, I'm sure, but there's total benefits to actually going on multiple launch pads, which actually I know Labs and Lepricon are also doing as well. And so this way you kind of get access to just many more people, right, who are interested in your project. So actually, I think the emergence of the launch pads in general has led to sort of the boom for all launch pads. There's this quote, a rising tide lifts all boats. So it's like, as, for instance, we're in a bull market, so as the, Bitcoin goes up and as the major cryptocurrencies go up, it tends to lift up many of the altcoins as well. And I think this is also true of the launch pads. The more news and press and media they get, even if it's for a different launch pad, it ends up being helpful for all of them, right? Because people see the value of it and people try to figure out how can I get involved. So, that's quite exciting.
But here I would like to ask you about also selective projects, selective process. So we have selective process for partnerships for sure, and it's quite strict, I could say. But we also have selective process for projects whom we are hosting on RioDeFi, on Rio chain, especially. And for now we have MantraDAO, we have Labs, we have Lepricon, and we also have another project that James recently mentioned during his AMA. So James, would you tell us a little bit about selective process for the projects? Like, what kind of criteria you are looking at? We are looking at, actually. What kind of I don't know, key milestones for you to necessary to be in this project?
Yeah, I think one is we look for teams that are really passionate and dedicated to what it is that they're trying to do. So, Yuen had been hard at work in real estate, really promoting Labs for almost almost 4 years or something. So he'd really been out there during the bear market, educating people about the tokenization of real estate. This was back when security tokens were very new as a concept and hadn't really taken off as much yet. There was a lot of promise for them, but there was issues with the secondary exchanges, not having liquidity for these tokens, which is changing very rapidly. And I think, so that was very good. And from the Lepricon side, Josh has been in the games industry for over 20 years. Stephen has been operating in the blockchain space for 4 years, and certainly has experience with games too. So this sort of thing is what I first and foremost look for people who want to incubate on Rio chain is what's the team look like? Who are the people behind this? Because for me, that's the most important. Business, there's a lot of chaos and things can win or lose, but I want to make sure that the people we're partnering with are people that are actually going to try and stick through the hard times to make things happen, and that's definitely what I've seen from both of them. And especially for me, I'm really in the blockchain space because I want to make a difference in the world. Maybe this is my millennial nature coming out. I see a lot of issues with the world, and I just want to make them better, right? So what I love about both Labs and Lepricon is they're really democratizing access to these things. So for Labs, they're democratizing access to real estate. I can't normally buy real estate for just $100 and get a nice piece of a property in Thailand and gain from the appreciation of that asset. It's legally impossible right now, right? So Labs is changing that. And with Lepricon, it's like, you can actually provide liquidity for people playing games and gain access to the proceeds of the players, whether they win or lose the particular game. You win as the liquidity provider no matter what. And if you're a gamer, you can stake some of your rewards to earn money off of the other gamers, right? So that's pretty cool. Like, where else do you have a DAO that operates a whole gaming platform that allows everyone else to really benefit from the whole growth of the network, right? Because like, if I go and promote Steam, well, that's cool. Now my brother can find video games to play. Cool, right? But I don't get paid for that, right? But if I hold LEP tokens and I promote the platform and the platform grows significantly and I'm staking those, well, I'm gonna, benefit from that growth, right? That's the cool thing about, crypto in general, I find. You turn what would otherwise be customers into stakeholders. So they actually, when the business does well, if the token model is designed properly, then the users of that platform, the people holding that token, will also benefit. And so I think this creates a really nice way of gaining a lot that from business that wasn't true before, because you had these systems where it didn't make sense for me to go market Steam or something because I don't get anything back. But if I market LEP or Labs, like, yeah, I can make a lot of rewards. So that's really cool. And it's something it's exciting to share with people.
Yeah, definitely. And at the same time, I would like to add that we are also looking at tech teams, because this is a key. Like, you could have a great idea, but if you don't have a great tech team, even we could help from our side to support to move to Rio chain and maybe to give some advices. But if you don't have a great tech team, your in-house tech team, then you cannot do anything, basically. So we had a look at tech teams of Labs and Lepricon, and I could say that they're quite great as well. And we have Guy back. Guy, welcome back. So I would like to ask you a question. So what kind of selective process do you have for the project, deciding let's say what project is going to be on Poolz and what project is going to to be selected? Guy, can you hear us?
So as you mentioned before, one of the most yes, I can hear you, I guess.
Okay. Should I repeat the question, or you heard the question?
As you mentioned before, one of the most.
Yeah, sure. So
I try. I guess I some. So.
Okay, we have some connections problems with Guy, but let me repeat the question. So, what is selective process for Poolz regarding other projects? Like, what are the main criteria? Who is deciding? Who is this fantastic decision maker? Or is it community? Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so as you mentioned before, it's more about the team at the beginning. It's very important that the team manage all the process. They have some experience in the field and everything. In general, the process in Poolz, we provide governance a huge wage in order to take decisions. So the first talking with the company, obviously it's come from us, from the founders. We meet personally the founder behind every company. We make due diligence, we make a research about token metrics, obviously white paper, the current status, if they have a project, don't have a project, partnership, that the achievement that they have so far. And then we share it with other governance team, and together we can take decision for Poolz community in general. We very believe that our biggest token holder need to be part of our decision in the long term of the company. and involve them in every aspect that we can in the process.
Well,
So
that's
the same
great.
was with labs. Obviously, the governance vote for them for Poolz, for IDO in Poolz.
Well, that's cool. I could say that then we are definitely going to decentralization era, and even projects are going to be selected for the Launchpad by community. And I would like to ask you, Yuen and Stephen, what made you to choose Poolz and what made you to choose RioDeFi project?
Come again. I think Guy, your side is breaking up. There's a lot of interrupting the sounds here.
There is slight noise in the background, probably.
Can you? Yeah, maybe Guy, you can mute first. Can you? Sorry, Katerina, your question is why did we go with Rio or?
Well, the question is why did you go with Rio and why did you choose?
Yeah. Okay. So when we go for partnership, I think the most important thing out of them all is whether our partners believe in the same vision. Believe in that the technology can really disrupt certain sector. So when I happened to meet James and his partner Calvin and all this, right, we convey our vision to them and say that, look, this is what we are going to do, and this is the first step, next step, and the and more steps afterward, obviously, right? So they listen to us very carefully and said that, yeah, this does go in alignment with our belief, which is blockchain. Making the world more transparent, more equal, equal access to all, and also because our project actually encourages financial inclusion as well, right? So James is also a big believer in that. Yeah. So he did say that the old world has a lot of imperfect areas, right? But I belong to the old world, so he is trying to change my world, but I'm ready for that. Let's do it together. And I believe that together we can change the way people invest in real estate. Yeah, for the better. Yeah. So that's why. That's why, of course, for any partnership to achieve the win-win, we must have something to give, and they have something to give, right? So we look at the real team; they can provide, a chain that can cross-communicate, among the different chains and ensure seamless and low-cost transactions, and that's what we need. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have great projects on Rio Chain, and especially great teams, as James also mentioned. We are really hunting for great teams and projects and ideas. So let me ask Stephen, what did you make to choose RioDeFi for Lepricon?
Sure. So, I mean, I think the choice was relatively simple for us. As James had mentioned earlier, Ethereum obviously has been the dominant, chain that people have been building dApps on for the past number of years, and it all has the problems which we know well about, and that wasn't really an option for us. And kind of Polkadot has always been touted as the Ethereum killer and kind of where things are heading. So, kind of looking at our entry point into the Polkadot ecosystem, it wasn't, entirely clear to us, what the most advantageous way to do that was. That was until we interacted and came across James and RioDeFi. So, what was presented to us was, and which has turned out to be the case, that the tools which we need to build, to actually get up and running on chain, that have come from the Rio Dev team, have actually been super easy. Kind of the way to actually get our dApps working on chain has been super easy. So all of the benefits of Polkadot low transaction costs, high transaction speeds that we all know so well. All of those things do truly matter. And and we talked a bit earlier about, I think we all talked about the importance of team, and we've all come across so-called white paper projects, anonymous teams, this type of thing. And when we were choosing our tech stack, we didn't want to go down that road of, this is some polka dot parachain that we've never heard of, and it's really reliable, but it's an anonymous team or something like that. And what James and yourself, indeed Katerina, and the whole team is doing, is very public, very engaging, very community focused, and kind of that really fit with our values also. And kind of that openness on the tech side to kind of help us and get us moving, has been super helpful. And I think the whole Lepricon team can say, the future's bright in terms of our plans, to keep building on Rio and continue to get the great support we've already got.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm words for RioDeFi and also for our team. We really appreciate it, because we are really working hard to provide with with everything we could for the project that are part of RioDeFi ecosystem. But James, I would like to ask you a question. You recently mentioned about one project that is going to be part of RioDeFi ecosystem, and that is going to be quite new on the market as well. Would you please just enlighten some information and because you made this intrigue, would you please give us slightly more details?
Sure. So the announcement hasn't been made yet, so I'll keep it a bit low profile. But basically, there's a new decentralized application that's going to be coming onto Rio Chain that is in the loyalty points industry. And they have something quite powerful, which is the ability to turn loyalty points, such as, for instance, Asia Miles or Starbucks points or things like this. Steam, we mentioned earlier, you can turn Steam game points into this loyalty token, which is sort of like a universal points token to use across the various loyalty programs. And then you can also use that with their swapping protocol to switch for a voucher to buy Bitcoin, for instance, through some of their exchange partners. So this is quite interesting in the sense of, almost everyone in developed countries has access to at least some loyalty program. They are, maybe part of a miles program, or they have, even their grocery store, they have some sort of points program. And so, this opens up the industry to a lot of new people, just from the side of gaining access to this universal loyalty points thing. And then those people can find out about cryptocurrencies. So it's a new way for people to learn more and, to gain access to these insights. And I think something well suited for blockchains, because a lot of these loyalty systems are kind of centralized and opaque, and it's hard to see what the actual value of points might be. And so it's cool to see that will be more accessible via just like peer-to-peer swapping. So I think it'll open up the industry quite a bit, and it's something we're really looking forward to. So.
Okay, you just made us more intrigued than we were. And now I would like Guy is back, so I would like to ask an open question before Guy disappeared again because of a problem. So, what do you think about fundraising? Like, what kind of issues do you had from Poolz side for fundraising to your own project, for fundraising, like for creating this launch pad? What kind of issues did you meet?
Great question, I must say. In general, like all the fundraising, I believe, is one of the most exciting issue for company before listing. It spend a lot of, let's say, time and effort in order to manage everything, to choose the right partners, to sign an agreement, to speak with hundreds of VCs until you get the right decision. So from my process, what I learned from my own and even for the company that we work with, it's very important to choose the right partners. How to manage allocation for every partner. What is the vesting that you provide for every partner? This basically what provide you can provide you, the stable of the coin for the long term and keep price and keep traction after listing. Because today, as we saw the picture, it's not about raise money, it's about raise smart money. Because money, it's in the market. It's not a huge problem to find the one person that provides you $10 million, but it's not about it. You want to create community, provide lowest allocation for every investor in order to build your project and the community from the beginning.
Okay, now you even intrigued me when you told like it's not a problem to find a person who is going to give you $10 million. So for me, I found it tough for the projects at least. And I would like to ask you, Stephen and Yuen, what kind of problems did you meet when you were doing fundraising for your projects? For sure, RioDeFi helped you with fundraising as well, me personally. And, but you also raised a lot by yourself. So would you tell us about the issues and how you overcame that?
Yeah. So when we first started, it was not easy. Yeah, because we are trying to do what we call ourselves is digitized real estate investment ecosystem, right? When you hear the word ecosystem, it means a big thing, right? A big project. Yeah. So a lot of people think that is very challenging. It's not easy to achieve what we vision it to be. So during the start, we first tried in China. To be honest, we did get one or two VCs, and after that, we did find it a bit tough. Yeah. And then Christmas came because it was around the Christmas period, and suddenly we got traction. With a lot of partnership that we announced. With like people like Centrifuge. Engine, Pocket Cover. Obviously, Real was the first one, right? And then we start to be able to generate hype, yeah. And then suddenly we just finished the fundraising within 2 weeks. So it was such a difference, So it's also kind of like a psychological thing, right? People want to see that you gain certain level of success, then they are afraid of losing out and all this. And then they realize that we are the real deal. We keep on, trying hard to release our good news, our partnership. We never relented on our sharing of vision and all this. So we gain the trust of people. And then, of course, we got even more hype when we announced our partnership with all the top launch pads, including Poolz, Dark Starter, and also MentorDAO. Yep. So much so that I hope this is not negative press for Dark Starter, but we did. The response was overwhelming, and it did crush their servers. Yeah, but they also reacted very professionally. Yeah, so we came out of the the resolutions to solve that. Yeah. So in the end, it still went well. Heads off to the dark team. Yep. So and then we just keep on trying because I've been trying on this since 2018. It's not a time for me to give up. We work very hard on the publicity and everything, and now some of my friends actually, or those investor friends, they told me that Labs is rather hype right now. I have no idea because I keep on working on my own stuff, and because as you know, we have our Uniswap listing, which is 10:30 UTC AM. So a few hours to go, and then the result will tell whether Labs is hype enough or not. Yeah. Thanks to everybody for your support.
Well, I just would like to say that we are waiting for 10:30 UTC today for Labs to go finally, to be listed finally. And we are definitely going to look at the process and to look how it's going to be, and to watch it maybe the whole day.
Yeah, hopefully you don't find me on Earth. I might be, on the moon. Yeah.
Well, definitely, like we are going to the moon, everybody. So, Stephen, what do you think about, let's say, about the issues for fundraising? What kind of fundraising issues did you meet, and how did you overcome them?
Sure. Yeah. And I think Yuen is so good with the explanation, and then you put in the critical information about the Uniswap listing so gracefully. So I'm going to do the same. I mean, I think as Yuen said, I mean, a lot of it at the start is essentially psychology. It's like the old story, you leave a bike or, a bicycle in your front garden, and you say, free to take, and nobody takes it. But then you put a price tag on it saying, $2, and somebody will take it because it seems like a good deal. So there is a ton of psychology at the start, especially with those early investors. I mean, I think for us, we had, early supporters, primarily, and people around on this call are among those. And then I think the tipping point for us was, we kept working hard, producing a lot of content and community building, which, we wanted to express how busy we were, I guess, really, and also how passionate we were. And I think, we started before Christmas, came up with a plan. It was a good plan, stuck with the plan, kept producing content, building the community, developing the core business. And then I kind of think all that paid off. And then we got a strategic investor whom a lot of people followed. So as soon as they saw that they had invested, it was a very easy decision for other people to follow on. I think that was very important. And then I think one of the other tipping points for us was we paid, for certain marketing resources, and one of our articles got picked up in some large crypto media, and that was really the point where everything was looking nice in terms of our website, our deck, all of our presentation materials. The community was great. We were doing lots of AMAs, video AMAs, producing lots of content. And then the large crypto media picked up a couple of our articles, and then people came to our various social media channels, etc. And they saw that all the pieces were in the right place. It was a sector they were interested in: games, DeFi, NFT, Polkadot, Rio. It had all the elements. And then I guess looking back on it, it's allowing people to make an easy decision, and kind of giving them the tools to make that decision easy, where, whether it's you're in a shop buying a pair of jeans or you're buying a cup of coffee, you're confident that the coffee you're going to get is what you want. You're confident that the pair of jeans is the pair of jeans you want. And, similarly, it's the same psychology, with fundraising in the blockchain space, that giving people that comfort, that confidence, I think is crucially important. And, that's what if I was to look back on it, that would be some of my analysis of it.
Yeah, that's true. But I could say that it's really crucial to know what kind of cup of coffee you want and where you want to get. As a coffee lover, I could confirm. So, well, I could say that I've been working for fundraising for quite a long time for different projects, and for sure selected projects from my side. And I've been working with you guys, with Labs and Lepricon, and I could say that you had great success regarding private investors, regarding the funds. And I know that some of them, they wanted to invest, but simply no allocations, like rest. And it's really funny that investors in the beginning, they're trying to follow kind of trend. I don't know, they're looking at the community, whether you established it or not. And after that, they're looking to to the list of other investors as well. And also for sure, they're looking at the project itself and at the team. And there are lots of criteria that you have to follow. But at the same time, I'm really happy that Labs and Lepricon, they not only great projects, but also projects that are supported by quite well-known funds and quite well-known high net worth individuals in their space, and KOLs as well. So I'm quite fascinated about the future of these two projects. And for sure, I'm quite fascinated about the future of RioDeFi, the project that I belong to. And James, I would like to ask you, because I remember our fundraising period, and we made it quite fast. I could say we were oversubscribed with private investors, with public investors, with public sale as well. So would you tell me, please, what kind of issues we had that time? Because in the beginning, we actually had some issues, but it was really fast that we solved it.
Yeah, I think, well, thankfully, the market was pretty hot at that moment when we started doing the fundraising. So that always helps if there are a lot of cryptocurrency buyers, people who have made money on other projects. I think DOT had taken off pretty well at that point. Of course, nothing compared to where it's at now, but still quite high from the initial starting price back during their 2017 private sale. But anyways, I think, yeah, it's like, Stephen and Yuen both said, I think it's a matter of, building the community first, showing that you have a lot of partnerships and things of substance that you're producing. Certainly when, we were able to show that we were audited by CertiK, that was quite helpful with the core runtime modules of RioChain. The fact that, we had established a partnership with Hex Trust here in Hong Kong to store the funds securely. It shows that level of care that we're taking to make sure that, we are managing assets appropriately so we can actually build this business to be sustainable in the long run. So I think it's also a matter of, describing the vision in really clear words. Like, what is it that you're trying to build? Is that thing going to have a massive impact on the world, And obviously, decentralizing finance does. That's why we're all in crypto. But how can we make that experience better? Because DeFi has a lot of issues, with the scalability issues and gas fees, et cetera. And so, the thing with Labs and Lepricon, and why I personally invested in both projects actually, is that they both have these grand ideals of disrupting their industries, right? Like, how can you disrupt real estate? How can you disrupt gaming, right? So these the ability to make a difference in those industries and do so in a scalable way is something that's quite powerful and something that I think is important. And so for me personally, I always look toward like I said before, how can I make a difference in the world? And I do that also when it comes to funding. What projects would be impactful in their industry, and what founders do I believe in, and that kind of thing. So I think the key to successful fundraising is to build a community, to build partnerships. They're also part of your community, right? The people that you're going to interact with, business to business as well as business to consumer. Or business to community now, maybe the better phrasing. So I think it's, now with this modern crypto economy that we're moving into, there's much more of an alignment, I think, between the consumers of the product and the owners of the product. In many cases, they end up being the same, right, in some fashion, with particularly DAO governance tokens, right? As a holder, you are an owner. And I think this is quite powerful and something that, I think traditional companies will jump in eventually too. I think they'll start giving away some sort of shares to the people who, what if you, Katerina, I think you would own Starbucks by now if they gave you shares every time you got coffee. So,
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, you know, that you contribute to an ecosystem and they, you know, they grant you some value via their token model. So, you know, I think, yeah, if you want to fundraise, definitely the key first step is just have a good idea. You know, have something built. Ideally, you know, you want tech that you can actually show people. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the final version. You know, certainly in tech development, there's this sort of thing that, you know, if your product isn't, if you're not a little bit embarrassed when you launch your first product, maybe you launch too late, you know, because otherwise someone else would have done it sooner, right? So, you know, if you look at Apple, you know, where they are now versus when they first started. I mean, granted, Steve Jobs had good design aesthetic, so he started with it looking pretty nice, right? But, you know, especially the first iPhone to the, you know, iPhone 11 or 12 now, I guess we're on. You know, it's like, it's a huge difference, right? So I think, you know, that's just going to come with time. And what I would say to people, you know, in the crypto space is, you know, we're very early still. It might be hard to believe since Bitcoin's 60,000 now, but you know, there's still, most of the world does not have cryptocurrency. Most of the world has not heard of Ethereum or Polkadot or Labs or Lepricon or RioDeFi. You know, so it's still very, very early, and I think you know, it's an exciting time to be in the space. So.
Yeah, definitely, James. Well, thank you so much for your fantastic overview of the space and how projects can do successful fundraising, because this is the key, I guess, for many projects who are watching us, watching our AMA now, and they really like, maybe they have great ideas, but they don't know like how to start, where to start, and about the funds as well. So yeah, definitely, James, it was really great advice from your side. And well, unfortunately, we are running out of time for now. And Guy disappeared again because he have problems with connection. He has problems with connections, unfortunately. So I would like to thank all of you for being here today. And I know how it is tough for all of us to be at the same time to, you know, like to have AMA, because everybody is busy. But I really appreciate that all of us, we managed to find time and to be here to give these fantastic interviews, insights, thoughts to everybody who is watching us now. And thank you. Just thank you, and really wish you good luck for IDEO, Stephen, and also Yuen. Today at 10:30 UTC, we are going to watch how Labs is going to be listed on Uniswap. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Katarina. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good to see you guys. Take care.
Bye.